The day started like any other on the colony world of Rhea 9. The sky shimmered in soft blue light, and the human settlement was calm. The farmers worked the soil, the engineers fixed their machines, and children ran through the dusty fields chasing robotic butterflies. Among them was Lena, a small human girl with bright eyes and a laugh that carried across the wind. She was only 6 years old, but everyone on the colony knew her because of her strange companion, a honey badger named Rex. Rex had come from Earth with her father, who worked as a xenobiologist. The little creature was fierce, loyal, and oddly intelligent. Most colonists thought he was just a pet, but anyone who had seen him fight off a swarm of electric beetles knew better. Rex wasn't like other animals. He understood things, reacted fast, and protected Lena with a devotion that bordered on human. No one expected trouble that day. The sensors had been quiet for months. The colonists believed the galactic truce was still in place, that no alien species would dare attack a human settlement again. But space has a cruel sense of humor. At first, it was just a shadow moving across the sky. A huge shape blocked the sun. The air grew heavy as engines roared. When people looked up, they saw a ship, not human, not friendly. The hull was black, covered in jagged armor like a beast wearing metal skin. Then came the scream of sirens. The Velwrath, a race of apex predators from the Outer Rim, had arrived. They believed in dominance and power, and to them, humans were nothing but soft prey hiding behind machines. They had studied Earth's animals, amused by their small size and strange bravery. The Velwrath wanted to prove that no creature from such a weak planet could threaten their empire. The colony guards rushed to their stations. Laser turrets powered up, but the Velwrath ships fired first. Explosions tore through the outer perimeter. Dust and fire filled the air. Families ran toward the shelters while drones tried to fight back. The humans were outnumbered and outgunned. Lena's father shouted for her to hide inside the bunker. He pushed her toward the entrance and turned to run to the control tower. But Lena didn't move. She saw something in the chaos, a huge creature, taller than 3 men stepping from the flames. Its claws were long, its mouth filled with teeth like knives. It was a Velwrath hunter, and it was looking straight at her. The alien tilted its head, curious. Its eyes glowed orange, scanning the tiny human child. It reached out one clawed hand, not fast, almost gentle, like a scientist studying a new species. Lena froze. She wanted to scream, but her voice broke. That's when Rex moved. The honey badger darted between her legs and charged forward with a growl that sounded too deep for his small body. He didn't hesitate, didn't care that the alien was 10 times his size. Rex jumped onto the creature's arm and bit down. The alien roared as blood splattered the ground. Lena stumbled back, watching in shock. Rex didn't stop. He clawed, bit, and tore at the Velwrath's skin like a demon from another world. The alien tried to shake him off, but the badger's jaws locked harder. When the alien finally slammed its arm into the wall, Rex fell, but landed on his feet. His fur stood up, his eyes burning with rage. The air crackled with heat as he bared his teeth again. The Velwrath drew a weapon, a blade glowing blue with plasma. He raised it high to strike. Lena screamed. That scream cut through the battlefield, sharp, human, and filled with something the Velwrath didn't understand. Defiance. Before the blade could fall, a blast of light hit the alien's chest. The colony guards had arrived. The hunter staggered, dropped the weapon, and collapsed. Smoke rose from its armor. Rex climbed back onto Lena's shoulder, panting, eyes locked on the fallen creature. The guards surrounded them, guns ready, scanning the area. Lena held Rex tight, shaking, but the little creature didn't tremble. He looked straight at the burning sky where the Velwrath ship still circled, as if daring them to come closer. That night, the humans buried their dead and rebuilt their defenses. But whispers spread through the colony. People spoke about the little girl and her strange companion. They said the alien hunter had tried to take her. They said the honey badger had fought it alone. And somewhere in the darkness above, among the stars, the Velwrath command received the report. A report that made their leaders pause for the first time in centuries. The file said only one thing. Do not engage near human colonies. Earth animals are unpredictable. 2 days after the attack, the colony on Rhea 9 was quiet again, but not peaceful. The fires were gone, but the fear stayed. The humans had seen too much. No one said it out loud, but they all knew this was just the beginning. Lena's father worked day and night in the control tower, helping decode the fragments of the alien transmission. He barely slept. Every message the Velrath sent was filled with one thing: threats. They wanted to make an example of Rhea 9. They wanted humans to kneel. But down below in the recovery tent, something strange was happening. Soldiers and medics kept visiting a small corner of the camp, not to check on humans, but to see a certain short, black and white creature sleeping on a blanket, Rex. He had claw marks across his back and a missing patch of fur, but his breathing was steady. When Lena sat beside him, he would twitch his ear, open one eye, and grunt softly, as if annoyed by all the attention. The guards called him the Little Monster. The kids whispered another name, the Earth Guardian. For Lena, he was just Rex, her best friend, her protector. When she petted his head, she could still feel the roughness of dried alien blood. She didn't like remembering that fight, but part of her knew. It wasn't over. Late that night, the alarm lights flashed red again. But this time, there was no invasion. It was a message. A transmission. Open frequency. Everyone gathered around the main screen. Static hissed, and then an alien voice, deep and cold, spoke. Humans. You hide behind walls and beasts. We saw your creature. We are not impressed. We are coming again. This time no child will scream. Only silence, the voice ended. The room fell still. Even the hum of the generators sounded too loud. One of the soldiers cursed under his breath. Lena's father stared at the screen, jaw tight. They're not bluffing, he said. They want revenge. The colony commander ordered all ships grounded and shields boosted. But the truth was simple. They weren't ready. If the Velrath returned in full force, Rhea 9 would burn. Outside, under the pale moons, Rex woke up. His nose twitched. He could smell something, the faint metallic scent of alien oil drifting on the wind. He stood up, stiff but steady, and walked toward the edge of the camp. Lena followed quietly. In the distance, among the blackened trees, something shimmered. A small Velrath scout drone hovered low, scanning. Its lenses glowed orange as it searched for heat signatures. Rex crouched low. Lena whispered, "Don't." He didn't listen. The drone beeped once, then suddenly its sensors went dark, slammed by a blur of fur and teeth. The machine hit the dirt, sparks flying. Rex tore out its core, spat metal, and sat beside the wreckage. The next morning, the engineers found the destroyed drone. They recovered its memory chip and played the final seconds of recording. Everyone watched as the feed showed a small creature lunging toward the camera, mouth open, eyes glowing with fury. The video froze on that image. The alien observers watching from orbit also saw it. And for the first time, their analysts hesitated. That hesitation spread. The Velrath had always believed humans were weak, but the reports didn't match that belief anymore. Their soldiers spoke of chaos, of unpredictable resistance. One of their generals even said, "The humans fight like the beasts they keep." Still, the command decided. They would strike again, this time to erase Rhea 9 completely. 3 days later, the stars above the colony began to move. Not twinkling, marching. Dozens of Velrath warships dropped from hyperspace. They blotted out the sun. The colony shields hummed weakly as red beams started cutting through the atmosphere. Lena's father carried her to the shelter. "Stay down there. Don't move. Don't make a sound," he told her. But she could see in his eyes that he didn't believe they'd survive this one. Rex was beside her again. His fur stood up. He made a low growl that didn't sound like fear. It sounded like a promise. The sky cracked open as plasma fire rained down. Human defenses broke one by one. Then, just when it seemed hopeless, a strange sound filled the air. Not explosions, not screaming, something deeper, like the roar of the planet itself. The ground shook. The air turned electric. Rex leaped out of the shelter and disappeared into the smoke. Lena cried out, but no one could stop him. He ran straight toward the burning field where the first Velrath troop ship landed. The soldiers inside had no idea what was waiting for them. Their scanners picked up a life form, small, fast, and radiating impossible energy. Then the feed went black. Within minutes, the second ship reported movement. The creature had jumped onto its hull, tearing through armored plating like it was paper. Energy weapons fired, but it didn't stop. It kept coming. And from the control tower, humans watching through thermal sensors saw something unbelievable. Rex, glowing faintly gold, eyes blazing like molten metal. The more danger he faced, the more powerful he became. Lena's father whispered, "He's evolving." The Velrath commander, high above in orbit, watched his fleet crumble from one small creature's fury. He couldn't understand how it was possible. He sent one last message to his troops before the line went silent. "Retreat. Do not engage. The humans have unleashed something unnatural." The smoke above Rhea 9 hung for days, glowing orange under the strange twin suns. Everywhere the humans looked, there was silence. The kind that only comes after something impossible. The Velrath had retreated. Not because they lost a battle, but because of one small animal. Rex, the colony, was half ruined, but alive. Soldiers stood among broken ships, whispering about what they saw. A glowing creature tearing through armored aliens, howling like a storm made of teeth. Some swore he grew twice his size. Some said the ground itself cracked under his paws. No one really knew. They only knew one thing. The Velrath left in fear. The Galactic Council heard about it within hours. Reports flooded in from listening posts and trading outposts. Human colony attacked. Alien fleet defeated by unknown Earth creature. At first they laughed. The idea of a small mammal bringing down a war fleet sounded ridiculous. But the data logs, the black box recordings, and the shipwreckage didn't lie. The words Earth honey badger suddenly became a trending topic across 50 systems. On the Velrath homeworld, leaders demanded answers. Their pride couldn't handle the story. How could a tiny animal humiliate them? They ordered scientists to study human biology again. The results were worse than they expected. Human species, adaptive, unpredictable, emotionally unstable, and terrifying when provoked. Earth fauna, symbiotic with humans, evolved for aggression and survival. Recommendation: avoid direct conflict. That line spread through the military channels faster than any propaganda. For the first time in centuries, the Velrath Empire hesitated to attack anyone. Meanwhile, back on Rhea 9, life started again. Kind of. The colony rebuilt slowly. Metal walls replaced burned homes, new defenses went up, and patrol drones circled the skies. Lena spent her days near the med bay where Rex rested. He was smaller now, calm again, sleeping heavily. His fur had strange silver streaks that weren't there before. When she petted him, his body felt warm, like something inside still glowed. The medics ran scans but didn't understand what he had become. His cells had changed. His strength was increasing even while he slept. One doctor called him an evolutionary miracle. Another just said, "Whatever he is, he's not done." Lena whispered to him, "You scared them all away, didn't you?" Rex twitched an ear as if agreeing. Then a week later, new visitors arrived. Not Velrath, not human soldiers. A Galactic Council shuttle landed on Rhea 9. The diplomats came dressed in silver robes carrying translation drones. Their faces looked like smooth glass, reflecting everything and nothing. They came to investigate the incident. But everyone knew the truth. They came to make sure humanity didn't have more of those creatures waiting. The colony commander greeted them at the gate. Lena stood hidden behind a crate, watching. She wasn't supposed to be there, but curiosity always beat rules. The aliens spoke in calm, careful voices. "We seek to understand this Earth animal. We seek peace, not chaos." Her father didn't answer at first. Then he simply said, "Peace comes easier when you stop trying to steal children." The translator bot beeped awkwardly. The aliens shifted uncomfortably. That night, the council representatives requested to see Rex. When they entered the med bay, the honey badger lifted his head, staring straight at them. He didn't growl, didn't move. Just looked, but that was enough. Every one of those visitors felt it, the weight of intelligence behind those dark eyes. Something ancient, wild, and aware. The lead diplomat backed away. "Remarkable," he said. "Truly remarkable." After that, things changed. The Galactic Council declared a new treaty, the HFY Accord, banning any military contact near human colonies. Officially, it was for peacekeeping. Unofficially, it was fear. The Velrath didn't like it. They called the humans liars. They said the recordings were fake. They said they'd return and prove their superiority. But they didn't. Not yet. HFY 9 became famous. Reporters, scientists, and traders came from across the stars just to see the place where the beast of Earth turned the tide. Humans tried to act humble, but deep down every colonist knew they'd earned respect the hard way. One evening, Lena sat outside with her father, watching the sky. The stars were clear again, the air calm. "Will they come back?" she asked. Her father looked at her, tired but proud. "Maybe, but this time they'll think twice." Rex sat beside her, licking his paw like none of it mattered. But his eyes glowed faintly in the dark, catching the light of a passing satellite. He had seen battle, tasted fear, and walked through fire. Now he was quiet, waiting. Because somewhere out there, in the void between stars, a new message was forming among alien soldiers and generals alike, a whisper spreading through every fleet. If you ever see a human child with a striped creature beside her, turn your ship around. And for the first time in history, the galaxy began to understand why humans never travel alone. Months passed. The colony of HFY 9 healed faster than anyone thought it could. New buildings rose from the ashes, fresh crops grew in the soil, and children laughed again under the twin suns. But peace on a human world never lasts long. Out in the void, far beyond the colony's reach, the Velrath Empire was boiling. Their defeat on HFY 9 had become a stain on their honor. Every council meeting, every broadcast, every soldier whispered the same word: Honey Badger. The Emperor himself refused to believe the story. "An animal cannot defeat warriors," he growled. It was trickery. Humans use machines, not beasts, so he chose to prove it. A new fleet was assembled, silent, massive, hidden from scanners. Not an army of conquest this time, but an army of vengeance. Their mission was simple: destroy HFY 9, take the child alive, and bring the creature back in chains on HFY 9. The humans had no idea the sky was already watching them again. Lena was 7 now. Taller, braver, still with that same spark in her eyes. Rex stayed close, always alert, always half ready to fight the wind itself. He didn't act like a pet anymore. He acted like a guardian who understood far more than anyone around him. Her father worked on a new defense system with the help of galactic scientists, but even they didn't trust it completely. Machines fail. Humans panic. Beasts don't. That night, a storm rolled in. Dark clouds, lightning that painted the sky green. Lena couldn't sleep. She sat near the window, watching the thunder crawl across the horizon. Then she saw something else. Not lightning, a streak of fire cutting through the clouds. It wasn't a meteor. It was a ship. Moments later, alarms screamed through the colony. "Unidentified vessel entering atmosphere." The voice over the intercom sounded calm, but everyone felt the old fear return. Lena's father ran to the shelter again. Soldiers spread across the walls. The new turrets powered up. But before anyone could open fire, the ship landed, hard, near the old crater where the First War began. Dust rose, glowing orange in the lightning, and then they saw it. A Velrath hunter stepped out. Not an army, not a squad, just one. He wore no armor, no helmet. His claws gleamed like silver and his eyes burned yellow. He didn't roar. He simply spoke through the translator drone at his side. "I come for the creature that broke our honor. No armies this time. Only me. The humans didn't fire. They wanted to. But something about his presence froze them. This was no mindless soldier. This was a champion, one chosen to erase shame. Inside the command tower, Lena's father shouted, "Keep everyone inside!" But Lena had already slipped out with Rex. She couldn't stand hiding again. She found herself standing at the edge of the field, wind whipping her hair, as the alien hunter walked closer. He was huge, almost 3 meters tall, but he moved slowly, like someone testing fate. Rex stood in front of her, fur raised, teeth bared. The alien tilted his head. "So this is it," he said. "The beast that shamed the Velrath." His claw tapped the ground once. "You will die, little thing." Rex didn't wait for an invitation. He charged. The ground exploded under his paws. He hit the alien's leg like a bullet. The hunter swung fast but missed. Rex leaped, claws slicing through armor. Sparks flew. The hunter roared and grabbed him midair, slamming him into the dirt. The sound echoed like thunder. Lena screamed, but Rex rolled, bit down hard on the alien's wrist, and tore through muscle and metal together. The alien bled silver and black. He stumbled but laughed. "You fight well, Earth Beast." But not well enough. He drew a plasma blade and swung again. Rex dodged, barely. The blade scorched the ground where he'd been a second before. The humans watched through scanners, too afraid to interfere. Every strike sent shockwaves. The duel was not just strength. It was pride. Then suddenly Rex stopped. He crouched low, breathing heavy, eyes glowing faint gold again. The air shimmered around him. The same energy that had saved Rhea 9 once before. Lightning flashed behind them. The honey badger's body flared brighter, and his roar cracked through the sky. The hunter froze. When he moved again, it was too late. Rex slammed into him, claws ripping through the chest plate, straight into the alien's heart. The Velrath champion dropped his blade, staggered, and fell to his knees. He looked up at the sky, then at Lena, and said one last word through the translator. "Impossible!" The thunder swallowed his voice. He collapsed, motionless. Rex stepped back, panting, fur glowing faintly in the rain. He looked at Lena, then at the sky, as if expecting more to come. From orbit, the Velrath fleet watched in silence. Their champion had fallen. Their sensors read only one life form standing. The small one. The Velrath commander whispered, "End transmission." Their ships turned around without firing a single shot. Down below, humans gathered around Lena and Rex. No one spoke. No one dared. The storm faded. The rain washed the alien's blood into the soil. That night, the Council declared Rhea 9 a protected world. No one would touch it again. Not Velrath, not pirates, not even other humans without permission. But in the darkness, across the galaxy, stories began spreading again. Tales of the little human girl and her beast. Tales of the monster from Earth that made empires kneel. And somewhere, far away, the Velrath Emperor broke his own silence. He stared at the reports and said softly, "If that creature guards humanity, then perhaps humanity is not prey. Perhaps it never was." Months turned into a quiet year on Rhea 9. The sky was peaceful again. The colony rebuilt stronger, brighter, and a little prouder. But the people never forgot the night the alien champion fell, or the small creature that saved them all. For most colonists, life slowly returned to normal, if normal could ever exist again. For Lena, it never would. She was no longer just a child from the fields. People called her the Girl of the Guardian, and every time someone saw her walking with Rex beside her, they stopped to stare. Soldiers saluted her father. Kids followed her around, hoping to touch the little hero who had made a galaxy afraid. Rex didn't care about any of that. He still spent his mornings sleeping under the solar panels, afternoons chasing bugs, and evenings sitting by Lena's feet. But something in him had changed. His body carried a faint glow even when he rested. Machines hummed oddly near him, as if reacting to his energy. Lena's father noticed it first. "He's evolving," he said, eyes fixed on the data screens. "He's not just stronger. His biology's rewriting itself." When scientists from the Galactic Council arrived to study him, they couldn't explain anything. Rex's DNA was fusing with something unknown, something not entirely from Earth anymore. The Council offered to take Rex for research. Lena refused immediately. "He's not your experiment," she said. "He's family." The alien researchers didn't argue. They'd seen the security footage. They'd seen what happened to those who tried to control him. Weeks later, a transport ship from the Outer Rim landed at Rhea 9. It carried journalists, traders, and historians. The humans didn't invite them, but they came anyway. The story of the honey badger had become a myth across the stars. Every species wanted proof. One reporter asked, "Is it true he fought a Velrath warlord alone?" Lena only smiled. "You can believe what you want." But later that night, as she looked up at the stars, she knew something bigger was coming. Myths don't die quietly. They grow and draw attention. Far away in deep space, the Velrath Emperor stood before his generals. The footage of his champion's defeat played again on a cold holographic screen. He said nothing for a long time until finally he turned away. "Send word to the other empires," he ordered. "Let them deal with the humans. The Velrath are done losing." But other species weren't eager to challenge humanity either. Stories of the honey badger had turned into warnings. Traders told tales of human worlds guarded by beasts that couldn't be killed. Pirates claimed they saw glowing eyes watching from the void when they tried to raid human ships. Every rumor made humans seem more dangerous. Every whisper gave them more power. On Rhea 9, a delegation of peacekeepers arrived from the Tyrax Dominion, one of the Council's oldest races. Their leader was a tall alien with crystal-like skin that shimmered in sunlight. He came not to threaten, but to ask. "We wish to understand the creature," he said calmly. "If it protects humanity, perhaps it can protect others too." Lena's father hesitated. "You want to weaponize him?" The Tyrax bowed slightly. "We want to survive what's coming." That last line lingered. "What's coming?" The alien's eyes flickered. "Not the Velrath, something older. Something your world woke up." The humans didn't understand, but Rex did. His ears twitched, his fur bristled, and his eyes glowed faintly gold again. That night, Lena dreamed of endless darkness. In it, she saw shapes, huge, slow, and ancient. Something moving between the stars, drawn by the echo of a roar that once shook Rhea 9. When she woke up, Rex was already standing by the door, staring into the night sky. The wind outside felt wrong, too still, too silent. The next morning, the Council sent a message to every colony. Unidentified signals detected beyond known space. All outposts remain alert. The galaxy was restless again, but for the people of Rhea 9, fear had changed into faith. They didn't run to shelters anymore. They looked at the small creature sitting beside their children and thought, "We'll be fine." Rex sat calmly as ships patrolled the skies, as soldiers trained, as rumors spread. He wasn't just an animal now. He was a symbol, something the entire galaxy couldn't explain but everyone respected. And when new visitors arrived, merchants, soldiers, even alien priests, they all asked to see him. They left offerings, glowing stones, strange flowers, old coins from forgotten worlds. They called him the Star Beast, the Defender, and sometimes simply Hope. Lena laughed at that last one. "He's not Hope," she said, patting his head. "He's just Rex." But Rex looked up, his gaze fixed beyond the clouds, as if he could already sense the storm forming far away. Because somewhere in the cold between galaxies, something ancient stirred. It had heard the noise, the war, the fear, the stories, and it was curious. The legend of the honey badger had traveled too far, too fast, and now something wanted to see if the stories were true. Rhea 9 had become the center of the galaxy's attention, and Rex was no longer just a legend. He was the first warning. The galaxy had grown too quiet. Every empire, every outpost, every ship that wandered too close to Rhea 9 learned to keep its distance. The humans didn't brag. They didn't send armies. They just rebuilt. But silence in the stars rarely meant peace. It meant something was listening. One night, a sound reached the colony's radar, a pulse, deep and slow, like a heartbeat from the edge of the void. It wasn't Velrath, nor any signal the Council recognized. Whatever it wasn't sending a message. It was calling. The Council sent warnings. "Stay underground, stay safe. Do not answer." But humans, being human, didn't listen. Curiosity always wins. And on the 10th night, something appeared in the sky. A crack opened among the stars, glowing white and blue, and from it came a shape so large it blocked out constellations. The scanners couldn't measure its size. It was bigger than a moon. The alien fleets across nearby systems shut down their engines in fear. Even the Velrath refused to approach. The creature moved like a drifting mountain of light and shadow. Its body wasn't solid, more like liquid metal, flowing and shifting, covered in ancient scars. It had come to find the one who shook the galaxy, the small beast who had roared back at war itself. The people of Rhea 9 watched from the surface as the sky burned. Lena stood outside the bunker again, holding Rex. He didn't struggle. He just looked up silent and calm, like he'd been waiting for this. Her father shouted from the tower, "Get inside! That's not a ship, it's alive!" But Lena didn't move. Neither did Rex. A wave of sound rolled over the planet. The air itself seemed to bend, and then the voice came. Not through speakers or translators, but straight into every living mind. Who is the one they call the Earth Beast? The humans couldn't breathe. Some dropped to their knees, clutching their heads. Machines failed. Lights flickered. Rex stepped forward. The small creature looked impossibly small beneath the colossal being hanging in the sky. But when he stood there, something strange happened. The fear began to fade. The air steadied. Even the voice grew quieter. "You are not of power," the being said. "You are fragile. Why does the galaxy fear you?" Rex didn't answer with words. He didn't have to. He just looked up and let out a low growl, deep, steady, almost like a heartbeat answering another. The great being paused. For the first time in ages, it seemed uncertain. Lena's father whispered, "It's communicating." But the truth was simpler. It wasn't a conversation. It was recognition. The being saw in the honey badger's tiny form something it had forgotten existed. Defiance without arrogance. The same spark that let humans crawl out of caves, cross stars, and stare back at gods. The being spoke again, softer now. "Long ago, I made your kind. I watched them die, yet here you stand." Rex's fur shimmered gold. The energy that had saved the colony before now spread through the air like sunlight. The ground stopped trembling. The giant form above dimmed, its edges fading into mist. "Keep your fire," it said. "It will save you when nothing else can." Then it was gone. The sky returned to black, the stars blinking one by one. No ships, no war. Just silence again. The council went mad with questions. What was it, a god? A remnant? A weapon? But humans didn't have answers. All they knew was that the creature hadn't come to destroy, it came to see, and it left Rhea 9 untouched. Weeks passed, and the galaxy moved on. The Velrath withdrew from human borders entirely. The Council elevated Earth to a protected civilization. Some called it diplomacy. Others called it surrender. Lena's father retired from command and started teaching xenobiology again. He never told anyone the full story of that night. He didn't have to. Everyone already knew what happened, because everyone had dreamed the same dream afterward. A small creature standing under a burning sky, unafraid. Years later, Lena grew up. The colony turned into a city. Children learned the story of Rex in school like a legend from history. The last time anyone saw him, he was sitting by the edge of the forest, staring toward the horizon. His fur glowed faintly gold under the twin suns. Lena, now a young woman, knelt beside him. "You're leaving, aren't you?" she whispered. Rex looked up at her, blinked once, and nudged her hand softly. He had grown slower, calmer, wiser, but his eyes still held that wild spark. She smiled through tears. "Thank you for everything." He walked away quietly, disappearing into the tall, silver grass. No one followed. No one tried to stop him. The next morning, his footprints were gone, but the soil where he stood was marked by a faint circle of light. The scientists tested it. They said the ground itself had changed, stronger, impossible to break. The humans didn't need proof. They just called it the Guardian's Mark. Generations later, long after the war and the fear had passed, every child on Rhea 9 still heard the same bedtime story. About a tiny creature from a distant world who taught the galaxy that size. Strength and power mean nothing against loyalty, courage, and the will to protect. And when ships from other races passed by Rhea 9, they didn't come close. They whispered among themselves, "That's the world where the humans live with monsters." "No," another would say. That's the world where monsters live with humans. And somewhere, in the quiet corners of the universe, when the stars flickered in strange patterns, some swore they could still hear it. The low, steady growl of a creature who once made the galaxy tremble.